Hello and welcome back to another class. My name is Tati. In today's full-length Vinyasa flow class, the breath is really important for the more faster-paced yoga flow classes. Of course, the breath is always really important, but it helps us link the poses together. It helps us get deeper into the poses, and most importantly, it really helps bring our mind back to the present moment. So you'll be hearing me cue remember the breath, breathe deeply many times throughout this class. And one of the principles in yoga is ahimsa, which means non-harm, including non-harm to yourself. So please listen to your body and take what you need from today's practice. If you haven't already clicked subscribe and joined our lovely community, why not go ahead and do that? It really helps support the channel. So finding a nice tall spine, cross-legged on the mat, relaxing the shoulders back and away, perhaps closing down the eyes or softening the gaze. And just taking the next few moments to let go of your week, any to-do lists, just arriving in your practice. And perhaps taking a deep breath in through the nose, all the way into the upper chest, the rib cage, into the belly, and then exhale out through the nose. So taking a few rounds of these deep yogic breaths in through the nose, filling the three compartments of the upper chest, the rib cage, as well as the belly. And exhale out. Breathing in and exhale out. And taking one more round of deep belly breathing. And then placing the hands, palms together at heart center. And calling into mind a beloved family member, friend, a loved one, perhaps yourself or a beloved pet who you'd like to dedicate this practice to, someone who needs a bit of extra love today. And letting go of the prayer, resting the hands on the knees, and we're starting with some big circular movements at the hip. So leaning forward, bending at the elbows, and then drawing a big circle, expanding the chest forward, rounding with the exhalation back. And you can take these circles as large or as small as feels good for you as a warm-up. And you can also go as fast or as slow as you like. Next time you come through center, switching directions. So whatever direction you chose first, going in the opposite direction, warming up the spine, lingering perhaps anywhere you feel your spine or your hips need a bit of extra love. And then finding stillness, coming back through center. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, palms to touch. Exhale, left hand onto right knee. And then stretching the left arm up and leaning over and across to the left side. So you're finding a big stretch across the left side body. Maybe even relaxing the neck a bit, gazing down or up towards the right hand. Think about sinking that right hip down towards the earth. Inhale, straighten that right arm, and you're just going to twist over to the right. So the right fingertips float behind you, twisting open, pressing the right hand into the left hand into the right knee, gazing over the right shoulder. Nice tall spine. Exhale, unravel, stretching out the right leg to the sides, bringing the left foot in, and then we're going to slide the right hand down the right leg, left arm sweeps up and overhead, finding a side stretch with the right leg extended. Think about actively flexing the right foot so the toes are pointing up towards the sky. You're really spiraling the chest open towards the sky rather than rounding close to the ground. And then releasing. All you're going to do is come down, placing the left hand next to your right, placing the left hand next to your left hip, and then you're going to pivot onto the left knee, sweep the right fingertips down along the earth, and open up into supported wild thing. So pressing the hips up towards the sky, right foot anchored in the earth. And exhale, releasing back down. Inhale, squaring the hips to face that extended right leg. Arms come up. Exhale, folding over the right leg, sliding the hands along the knee. Inhale up. And we're going to be flowing like this a few times. So the arms slide along the ground. Inhale, brings them back up. Exhale, tilting forward. And then one last time before finding stillness. So folding over that extended right leg. However far you go is good, or feels comfortable in your body. And connecting to those deep belly breaths. It might be a bit more tricky to do it here in a forward fold, but it's still really important to take nice deep breaths. And then slowly walking the hands back to the center, coming back into a cross-legged position. And inhale, placing the hands back on the knees for a few rounds of seated cat-cow. So inhale, bending at the elbows, pressing the chest forward. Exhale, rounding the spine. I'll come to show you this way around so you can see. Inhale, chest comes forward, and exhale, round. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. And just a few more of these in your own breath, in your own time. And then taking one more of each before finding back into center. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, right hand onto left knee. Inhale, lengthen that left arm up before leaning over and to the right side, finding that seated left side body stretch. Again, you can relax the neck or gaze up towards the left fingertips. It can be quite common for the left hip to want to lift off the ground, so actively try pressing your weight back into that left sit bone. Feel the opening across the left side body. And then exhale, coming back through center, left hand floats behind. So you're forming a little tent with the left fingertips, pressing the floor away, gazing over the left shoulder. Spiraling the chest open, nice tall spine. Shoulders are relaxed from the ears. With the next exhalation, unwinding, coming back through center, stretching the left leg out. This time right foot comes in, and then sliding the left hand anywhere along the leg until you feel a nice stretch in the bottom of the left leg, and the right arm swoops up and over. And again, think about opening that chest up to the sky. You don't necessarily have to look up to the sky. If this feels uncomfortable in your neck, you can always look down. But rather come out so you can keep the chest open, then try come lower and fold forward. So really create that spaciousness. Stretch across the right side body. If you're doing this first thing in the morning, stretches and side stretches are incredibly energizing. So we'll be doing lots of twists and side stretches as our warm up. And exhale, releasing, placing the right hand next to the right hip this time, pivoting onto the right knee. So sweeping the left arm up and overhead, chest reaches up towards the sky, rooting through the right palm. Exhale, releasing, sitting back down and facing the hips towards the left leg. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, folding over the feet. Inhale, dragging the hands back towards the hips. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale and exhale over the leg. So we're bringing a bit of movement into the stretch here. And with the next inhalation, we'll be folding forward and holding over the left leg. Left toes are flexed and active. And think about bringing the belly to the thigh rather than working on rounding the spine to get the chest to the knee. Okay, good job. Coming back out, finding back into a cross-legged position. Inhale, sweep the arms up, palms to touch at heart center, calling back your dedication for the practice. And then finding into all fours, tabletop position. So hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. And then rolling out the left wrist. So you're resting all your weight on the right palm and the knees, rotating the left wrist in one direction, other direction, perhaps flicking out the fingers, and then placing the left hand back on the mat, repeating on the right side. So warming up those joints before we'll be flowing through quite a few rounds of sun salutations. So we really want those wrists to be warm, taking circles in one direction and the other direction, flicking out the fingers, and then coming back into tabletop, walking the palms to face the center line. So your fingers will be pointing away from you, and you can gently rock left to right if this feels okay in your wrists. If you have tender wrists, you don't have to do this one. You can also form fists. And for those of you who want to go a bit further, you can walk the fingertips to face your knees so the wrists are pointing away from you. This is very intense. You can also try shift the weight back a bit, taking some weight out of the wrists, and maybe static, or perhaps bringing some movement in by gently rocking backwards and forwards. Okay, and walking the wrists back to a normal tabletop position, tapping the back of the feet. And with the next inhalation, pressing the right foot back so the toes are on the mat, gently rocking backwards and forwards, warming up the back of the right calf and the foot. Starting to activate the core muscles. And with the next inhalation, right foot sweeps up off the mat, finding your balance before raising the left hand up off the mat. It's a nice straight line, finding length, And exhale, drawing left elbow to right knee under the body. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And last crunch. Lengthen the body, finding as much length as you can. And then exhale, bending the right knee. Left arm sweeps over and around. Maybe your arms and foot are in space. Maybe finding the foot with the left hand. And then pressing actively right foot into left hand, lifting as high as you can, spiraling the chest open towards the left. Tiger pose. Exhale, release. And repeating everything on the other side. So left toes stretch back, gently rocking backwards and forwards. Warming up the backs of the left calf. Inhale, lifting that left foot up off the mat. Finding your balance before lifting the right hand. Nice straight line. Core muscles are engaged. The hips are square. And inhale, crunching the right elbow to the left knee under the body. Inhale to lengthen, straightening everything out. Inhale, crunch. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale. And exhale. Knee to elbow. And lengthen. Last one. And stretch it out. Finding as much length. So reaching those fingertips forward. Toes point back. And then exhale, bending into the left knee. Right arm sweeps to the side and behind. In space, or perhaps finding the foot actively pressing foot into right hand, spiraling the chest open. This is a strength building pose, a balance pose, flexibility. There's a lot going on here. Exhale, releasing. And then with the next inhalation, tucking the toes, pressing the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And this might be your first down dog of the day, our first down dog of practice. So pedaling out, the feet bending into one knee, the other knee, rooting through the palms of the hands. And finding stillness, connecting to the ground, relaxing the head. And with the next inhalation, bending the knees, looking forward, and walking with lots of little steps all the way to the top of the mat into your forward fold. Relaxing the upper body, keeping a nice generous bend in the knees. And rolling all the way, one vertebra at a time, to a standing position at the top of your mat. Mountain pose, rolling the shoulders away, rooting through the feet, finding stillness and connecting back to the breath. Perhaps calling back into mind the dedication you made at the beginning of class. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, fingertips on the mat or the shins, finding a flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, step it back into high plank. Pressing actively into the palms, pressing the floor away. And then lowering the knees all the way onto the belly. Inhale, baby cobra, peeling the chest up off the mat. Pressing the backs of the feet into the floor. Exhale, tuck the toes and find your way all the way downward facing dog. still take a few rounds of pedaling out the feet, breathing deeply in and out. And with the next inhalation, slight bend in the knee, looking forward, walk, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, root to rise, arms sweep up and overhead. Exhale, palms to touch. So that was one Surya Namaskar A, one Sun Salutation A. We'll be doing 2 more of those. So inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, find a flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, finding high plank. Breathing in. And exhale, arms stay tucked and close to the body. Option to lower the knees or come in a full chaturanga all the way down to the belly. Inhale, cobra, pressing the floor away. And exhale, downward facing dog. We're here for a couple of breaths. And make sure to release the head, any tension in the jaw. And inhale, step it forward, finding a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, palms to touch. Inhale, greeting this beautiful day, and exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Step it back and flowing through chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Peeling the chest open, coming onto the backs of the feet, and exhale, downward facing dog. Remembering to take those nice deep breaths into the belly. If you're working with your Ujjayi breath, you're welcome to bring that into your practice now. And inhale, finding your way all the way to the front of the mat. Half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, arms sweep up and overhead, palms to touch at heart center. And we'll now be flowing through a few rounds of Sun Salutation B with some variation. So if this becomes too much for you, you can always skip or come into child's pose. And for the rest of us, inhale, sweeping the arms down and along the mat, up towards the ears, sinking low into chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Plant the palms, step it back into high plank, flowing through chaturanga, upward facing, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot comes up to the sky, step it forward between the hands, left toes stay tucked. Inhale, find your balance and into crescent high lunge. Inhale, lengthen the arms, sitting down low. Exhale, frame the front foot, step it back, Vinyasa. The exhalation, finding back into downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg sweeps up towards the sky, hips stay squared. Step the left foot between the hands. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, high lunge on the left side. Right toes are tucked. And exhale, planting the palms, step it back into high plank, flowing through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're here for a few breaths. Inhale, walk, step or hop to the front of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, sweep the arms, the fingertips down and along, up into chair pose. Sit the hips down and exhale, back into mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms, sit down into Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank. Inhale here. And exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right, inhale, right leg sweeps up, stepping the right foot between the hands, left foot parallel to the short edge of the mat. And inhale, opening up into warrior two. So checking that the knee is in a straight line, not pointing left or right. The arms stretching to either side of the body. And then inhale, tilt it forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior. And inhale, coming back through, framing the front foot, pivoting the left foot, step it back, high plank, vinyasa. And we all meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg sweeps up. Step the left foot forward, right foot turns 45 degrees, finding warrior two. Stable foundation, gazing over the left fingertips. Inhale, flip the front palm, leaning forward. Exhale, drawing the left arm over and to the back, reverse warrior. Pressing that left hip forward. And exhale, coming through warrior two, straight to frame the front foot, stepping the left foot back, high plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now walk, step or hop to the front of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweeping the fingertips along, sitting down into chair and releasing. Good job. Bringing warmth and energy to the body. Inhale, sweeping the arms up and sitting into Utkatasana for our last round of sun salutation. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, stepping into high plank, flowing through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step the right foot forward between the hands. Lower the left knee. Untuck the toes or keep them tucked. Inhale, sitting into your low crescent lunge. Fingertips sweep up, sinking heavy into the hips. Inhale to find length and exhale, left hand forward, right hand back. Finding into a T-shaped twist. Breathing in. And exhale back through center. Maybe finding a little back bend, opening the chest up to the sky. And exhale, frame the front foot. Step it back. Optional vinyasa or meeting us in downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg sweeps up. Exhale, step it forward between the hands, lower the right knee. Untuck the toes or keep them tucked. Inhale, sweeping the arms up into low lunge. Connecting back to your breath. Inhale, lengthen the fingertips. Right hand comes forward, left hand comes back. Open the arms in a T shape. Maybe gazing over the left fingertips. And inhale, coming back into high lunge, perhaps finding a little back bend. Low lunge. Exhale, plant the palms, step it back. Flowing through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And from here, dropping the knees wide, sitting the hips back and down, child's pose, melting the upper body to the ground. And catching your breath here for a few breaths. And then raising the gaze, pressing into the palms, hips come up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, find your way to the top of the mat, and inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Last chair pose of the class, sit it down nice and low. See how low you can go, and exhale, releasing, palms to side, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And from your high mountain, go ahead and step the left leg behind. Right foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. Left toes are pointing away. Inhale, the arms up in a straight line. Exhale, tilting the hips towards the left and folding into triangle pose. So you can keep a little bend in the left knee. You're welcome to keep the right hand on the right hip or peel that arm up to the sky. Imagine you're wedged between two sheets of glass. So a nice straight line in the front, a nice straight line at the back. And then either gazing towards the foot or up towards the right fingertips. And as the next inhalation, bending into the left knee, hands come to the front, pivoting that right foot back. So both feet are pointing the back of your mat now. And then inhale, lifting onto the fingertips or slightly higher to find a flat back. Exhale, fold it forward, pyramid pose. So the feet are about hip width distance apart, so it's like you're standing on train tracks. Don't worry if you have a little bend in the left knee or the right foot is slightly raised at the heel. And then for those of you who want to go a bit further, you can place the right hand to the outside of the right ankle, left hand onto the hip, or bringing the left arm up into revolved triangle pose. Breathing here, this is quite a challenging pose. If you have your block, you might like to use that here. And exhale, release, and pivoting the feet through center so that the right foot now pivots to the front of the mat. Left foot is perpendicular to the short edge of the mat. And inhale, coming back up, tilting the hips towards the right. Folding into Trikonasana, triangle pose on the other side. Left arm sweeps up or is resting on the left hip. Remember to breathe in this challenging pose for balance, strength, side bending and stretching. And exhale, bending into the right foot, bringing both hands to frame the front foot, pivoting the left foot to face the front of the mat. Inhale, finding a flat back. Exhale, folding over the right knee. So try keeping the hips squared off. Don't worry if you need a little bend in your right knee. For those going a bit further, you're welcome to place the left hand to the outside of the right foot, right hand on right hip, pulling that right shoulder up to the sky before raising the right hand up. And don't worry if you wobble out of this one, it's quite a challenging one. And exhale, releasing, stepping both feet forward into Uttanasana, forward fold. Walking the feet about hip width distance apart. Bringing the peace fingers, so the second and third finger, around the big toe, bending deeply into the knees. And then you can work on straightening the legs. You can bend the elbows and pull them away from you like wings up towards the top of the mat to help pull your belly closer towards your thighs. Release your upper body, your neck. And remember to send the breath to the back of the legs. Nice deep breathing. Option also, if you have the balance and you feel comfortable doing this, to slide the hands underneath the feet. So the crease of the wrist is touching the tips of the toes. Again, you can bend deeply into the knees and then slowly work on straightening them. Folding yourself in Padahastasana. I like to wriggle my toes here. It gives a nice little massage for the wrist crease. And then exhale, releasing the palms, slowly rolling up one vertebra at a time. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Stepping the left foot back again, this time opening up into warrior two. So left toes pointing to the back of the mat. Nice strong foundation. Inhale and exhale, left hand onto left knee. Right arm sweeps up and over into side angle pose. This is option one. For those of you who want to go deeper, you can work on bringing the left hand down to the floor or a block. And for those of you working with your bind, bringing the elbow low towards the knee and then bending the right arm, left arm comes underneath. This is very advanced, so please feel free to stay in either of the other options and still think about opening the chest up towards the sky. The same focus we've had for lots of our previous poses in class today. And if you're in the bind, coming out, and everyone meets in side angle with the arm resting on the left leg. Inhale, reverse the warrior. And exhale, coming back out. Big toes pointing in, heels pointing out. You might want to lengthen or shorten your stance. Hands on hips. Inhale, pressing the shoulder blades back and sliding together, opening up the chest. Exhale with the straight back, leaning forward. Prasarita Padottanasana, our wide-legged forward fold. Hands can be underneath the face, or you can start walking them back so that the back of the wrists are in line with the heels. Of course, always welcome to keep a little bend in the knees. And just letting go here in this mini inversion with a stretch for the backs of the legs. And then inhale, slowly walking the hands so that they're just underneath the face, pressing into the hands, bending into the knees, hands on hips, and then slowly lifting yourself up with the inhalation. Exhale, right toes point to the front of the mat now, warrior two. On the right side, gazing over the middle right finger. Nice strong foundation in the bottom half of the body, and the spacious lightness in the top half of the body. Inhale here. And exhale, bending the right arm, placing it onto the right thigh, and the left arm sweeps up and over. So you're creating that nice straight line all the way from the left foot to the left hip, and from the left hip all the way to the tips of the left fingers. Option here to stay in the first variation, or coming down with the right hand on the inside of the right foot. Or if you're working with your bind, welcome to Find your bind here, still thinking of opening the chest up towards the sky rather than collapsing down on the ground. So whichever variation you're in, feeling that expansion in the chest, the stretch across the left side body, and then everyone finding back into side angle with the right hand on the right knee or thigh. Inhale, reversing the warrior. Right arm sweeps up and overhead, pressing into the right part. And coming back out, toes in, heels out, clasping the hands. So you'll be doing this behind your back. I might actually show you this way around. Clasping the hands behind your back, pressing the fist away from the body, opening up the chest, and then leaning forward into a forward fold. So the wrists come over and across the body, head reaches down, fist reaches up and over. And inhale slowly, coming all the way back up, walking the feet slightly in, heels in, toes out, and then sinking all the way down into malasana yogisquat. Maybe bringing some movement in. Don't worry if the heels don't quite reach the ground or if you need to support yourself with the hands on the mat. And just finding into your yogi squat. Releasing the bum onto the mat, bringing the heels of the feet together into a butterfly pose. So wrapping the hands underneath the toes, maybe bouncing the knees out a bit. Or coming straight into butterfly pose, straight spine, folding forward, keeping a nice straight back for this first variation. And relaxing the knees towards the ground. Inhale, lift. And for the second variation, sliding the feet forward so you're forming a diamond shape. And then you're welcome to just fold forward anywhere feels comfortable, or you can slide the arms underneath the calves and finding the first preparation pose for tortoise pose. So here you can round the upper spine, sinking into the pose. Inhale, slowly release, unraveling the arms, coming back through center, placing the feet on the ground, toes pointing out, hands, fingers pointing in, and then lifting yourself up into a reverse tabletop. Inhale here, pressing the floor away. And exhale, release. Option to do that again, or perhaps straightening out the feet and the legs. Inhale, pressing yourself up into Purvattanasana. So lifting those hips, pressing into the hands. Exhale, release, and then rolling all the way onto the back, hugging the knees into the chest. Rocking gently from side to side in your small boat. And then inhale, holding behind the knees, rocking gently up and down on the spine a couple of times before finding straight into Navasana boat pose. So legs are up off the mat, holding the inside of the knees, perhaps floating the arms forward, chest is nice and open. An option to extend the legs straight if you really want a bit of a core challenge. Breathing and smiling here. 2 more breaths in and out. Breathing in, you've got this. And exhale, rolling over the feet. So you're bending into the feet, rolling onto all fours and pressing yourself up into downward facing dog. Inhale here, perhaps rolling forward to do an optional vinyasa. Inhale, up dog, exhale, down dog, and then jumping forward between the hands, straightening the legs out in front of you, toes pointing up, hands alongside the hips. You're always welcome to open the legs a little wider or bend into the knees. Dandasana, staff pose. Doesn't look so difficult, but there's a lot of activation of lots of different muscles and you need quite a lot of flexibility. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Nice straight back. Exhale, folding forward with that flat lower back. And the hands land wherever they land. Try not to round the spine too much, keeping the chin tucked. Paschimottanasana. So with every inhalation, think of lengthening the spine. And with every exhalation, letting yourself drop a little bit lower into the pose. So using the breath here to create that length and using the breath to go a bit deeper into the pose. Inhale, slowly rolling yourself back out. Coming into boat pose one more time. And here tapping one toe to the mat, then the opposite toe, and alternating, doing this 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Again, option to bend the knees, roll over the knees, jumping into downward facing dog, pedaling out the feet here. Inhale, 3-legged dog, bending the right knee, rolling out the hip 3 times in one direction and 3 times in the other direction. And then inhale, straighten the right leg, bringing the right knee to the right wrist, finding into pigeon pose, so straightening out that left leg. Keeping the hips squared as much as possible, so not trying to roll over too much to the right side. Inhale, pressing into the fingertips. You can welcome to stay here, but if you'd like to go a bit deeper, you can perhaps come onto the forearms, maybe grasping opposite elbows to form a pillow for your forehead, or straightening the arms out in front of you, taking whichever variation serves you best today. And if at any point your knee hurts, please come out, it's not worth it. We all have different anatomies in our body, at different levels of flexibility, so we never want to have pain, maybe a bit of discomfort, but never pain. So if you're feeling any pain in your knee, please come out. And then inhale, slowly pressing yourself up, walking the hands back in towards the knee, tucking the left toes and pressing yourself up back into downward facing dog, pedaling out the feet, noticing how the right side and left side might feel slightly different. And then inhale, lifting the left leg up to the sky, bending into the left knee, rolling up the hip 3 times in one direction and 3 times in the other direction, drawing big circles with the knee. Finding stillness, stretching out the left knee, straightening out the leg, coming forward, left knee to left wrist, straightening out the right leg. And the closer you bring your left foot in, the easier. If you want more of a challenge, you bring the right leg so the shin is parallel to the top of the mat. I personally don't find this very comfortable at all. Everyone has different shapes in their hip bowl, so for some this really might not work. And again, the most important thing is that your knee does not feel any pain. So that's number one. Option again to come down onto the forearms, pillow, or straightening out the arms. Letting yourself sink deeply here, acknowledging any thoughts or feelings that come up for you. Especially for those of us who sit a lot every day, can hold a lot of tension in this part of the body, our hips and glutes. And then inhale, slowly pressing yourself back up if you were down, finding length. Tucking the right toes and pressing the leg back into downward facing dog. Shaking out the head yes and no. Perhaps finding stillness. And then releasing back onto the knees, finding a seated position. Sliding the legs out in front of you. Straightening out the left leg with the toe points up. Right foot comes over and across. Inhale, lifting the right arm up. Exhale, twist over, gazing over the right shoulder. So nice tall spine. Exhale, release, straightening out the right leg. Left knee bends, stepping the left foot over the right leg, wrapping right arm over the knee, inhaling left arm up. Exhale, left arm floats behind, gazing over the left shoulder. And inhale, unraveling, coming back through center, shaking out those legs, bringing the feet bent at hip width distance apart, before rocking the knees gently from side to side, windscreen wipering out the knees. And then rolling all the way down onto your back. So the heels are close to the fingertips, knees are hip width distance apart. Then inhale, pressing into the forearms, lifting the hips up towards the sky, keeping the knees pointing straight, so not out or too in. Chin stays tucked, lifting those hips a little bit higher, bridge pose. And exhale, releasing, preparing for second round of bridge. And this time you're welcome to clasp the hands and shimmy the shoulders closer together, lifting the hips up. For those of you who have wheel in your practice, you're welcome to take that now too. And if you're in your wheel pose, slowly finding your way out. Everyone who is joining me in bridge pose, slowly lifting the back towards the ground, hugging the knees into the chest, into a baby boat, and gently rocking from side to side, stretching out the left leg long, pulling the right knee in towards the body, and then rocking the knee from side to side. Starting to slow down the breath. in the practice. Bending the left knee, placing the right knee on top of the left. Maybe you stay here, maybe wrapping the arms underneath through the legs, holding onto the inside or outside of the left knee. Pulling the knees in towards the chest, pressing the right elbow into the right knee. Making sure that the lower back is in contact with the earth. You're resting the back of the head on the mat. And then releasing the left foot onto the mat, dropping both knees over to the left side, opening the arms up in a T shape, gazing either to the ceiling over your right fingertips or keeping the eyes closed, sinking into your supine twist. Think of relaxing both shoulders towards the mat. So your right shoulder might be off the mat for now, but really visualize it becoming heavy and sinking towards the earth. And inhale, coming back through center, stretching out the right leg long along the mat, hugging left knee in, rocking the knee from side to side. Placing the right foot on the mat, bending at the knee, left foot on top of her right knee. You can stay here, or threading the arms through, holding onto the outside or inside of the right knee. Again, to intensify the stretch, you can press your left elbow into your left knee, pressing it away from you. Eye of the needle pose. And relaxing the right foot back towards the earth. Left knee and right knee fall over towards the right side this time, opening up the arms in a T shape, gazing up or over the left fingers. Nice heavy left shoulder. And then finding your way back, bringing legs to the center line. Hugging the lower spine to the mat, arms rest alongside the body, and then floating the legs up to the sky. And you can keep the knees as bent as you like. You might also like to practice this against a wall, so resting the legs against the wall. And also the option to float the arms up alongside the legs. Coming into dead bug pose, our inversion at the end of class. If you have a shoulder stand in your practice, you're also welcome to take that as an alternative. And for everyone joining me in dead bug pose, you're also welcome to rotate out the wrists and the ankles. We've done a lot of wrist work today, all the sun salutations, so it can be really nice to really let gravity work in the opposing direction here with the arms and legs up in space. And finding stillness, hugging the knees back into the chest, and then finding happy baby, grasping the outside edges of the feet, pulling the knees in towards the armpits, and keeping the lower back on the mat if possible. You can keep your baby still, or you can gently rock from side to side. It can also feel really nice to straighten out one leg and then the other leg. Really feel into your body. What do you need now before we close off with our final relaxation? So take any final movements that feel good to you, that you need now. And then we all relax our arms and legs away from the body. Palms facing up in a gesture of receiving, or palms facing down if you need a bit of grounding energy. Relaxing the jaw muscles. Letting go of any residual tension in the body. And letting yourself sink heavy into the earth. Eyeballs are relaxed, and the body is breathing itself naturally. And I will leave us here for a couple of moments in silence to integrate the effects of our practice and call you back when it's time. And slowly start to deepen the breath. Notice any sounds in the room around you. And gently inviting movement back into the body, wriggling the toes and the fingers. Stretching the arms up and overhead, finding length from the tiptoes to the tips of the fingers. Hugging the knees back into the chest for one last embrace. And then slowly in your own time, rolling over one side. Finding your way back into a comfortable cross-legged position, keeping the eyes closed. Relaxing the shoulders, keeping the hands on the knees. And take a moment to notice what's shifted for you emotionally, energetically, physically, mentally in your body today at the end of practice. Inhale, sweeping the arms up and overhead, palms to touch, and gathering this fresh energy at the heart space, bringing back to mind the dedication you made at the beginning of practice, and finding gratitude in your heart for making the time to do something beneficial for yourself today. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here today. I really hope that you enjoyed this full-length Vinyasa flow class. Please let me know in the comments if you'd like me to make more of these longer style classes, and if you haven't already subscribed, why not join the community of like-minded yogis over here on Tati Yoga. I also have an Instagram page, also Tati Yoga. And if you would like to follow up this class, a bit of a slower, stretchy class, or a yoga nidra, which is a yogic sleep class, I've linked those for you in the description box below, and they should pop up somewhere at the end screen. Once again, thank you so much for being here. All my love.